buckle in, little banditos. Let's have a little story time and talk about patriarchy and internalized misogyny and how it shows up in the real world and some real world shit I've had to deal with. Let's rewind to 2020. That's right, COVID era. My ex-husband, me, and my daughter, and one of our bestie friends were all living in my 1,900 square foot house in Denver, Colorado, which was a tight fit given that I was the breadwinner, making all the money and working out of the said house. So at some point along that way, I said, remember how we were talking about building the house up in the mountains? It was like, we're moving and we need to move now. I looked around. I found this amazing house that I'm living in now at this time. 5,000 square foot. Everybody got a little piece of the pie and everybody was nice and happy and a little bit more calm and we weren't in everybody's faces. But something funny happened, which is this is an older neighborhood. My kid always tells me she'd rather live in the neighborhood with all the kids, not with all the retirees and the vacation homes. But that's beside the point. Anyways, the neighbors are talking and they're trying to figure out who's living in the new house. And somebody asked me later, they go, well, your husband, he's an anesthesiologist. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? An anesthesiologist? And they said, well, yeah, because in their mind, that's the only way that we could afford this house in this town, in this neighborhood, was that the husband must be some sort of anesthesiologist. I had to look at that person and be like, look, homie, I ain't worked since my daughter was 4 months old and she's going on 5 now. So I don't know who started that rumor. Another year down the road, I've got a painter in my house. I always had painters and fixer-uppers and demos and remodelers, but I had my painter over and I said, hey, how about you come by this afternoon? I'll have a check ready for you. I said, apparently it's check day. Everybody's getting their checks. Ex-husband's getting the alimony check and you can come by and get your check. And he looked at me and he goes, you pay your ex-husband alimony? I said, yeah, I pay my ex-husband alimony. What did you think was going on? He said, well, I thought he paid you alimony and you got the house in the divorce. And I was like, excuse me? No. Judge said I had to pay him money, so he gets his check every month just like everybody else. And he looked at me and he said, well, now I admire you even more. And I was like, because I'm the breadwinner? Everybody's preconceived notions of what men do just because men are existing is the internalized misogyny that we all bump up against. Those preconceived notions that had everybody think that he was A, an anesthesiologist just for existing, and that B, I got the house and was getting paid alimony just because he's a man. And that's all I gotta say about that.